Okay, so it is a little different, though, this year for that seed. But I remember seeing
and then
Indiana.
two 16 seed playing, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it will get to those matchups, but I think it's a very solid point to recall that if you win a playoff or the play-in game, there's a good chance that one of those teams at least is moving on.
Seed. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rutgers Notre Dame personally. I think that's a good upset there.
I like it.
Over Bama. Plus, I don't want to get too SEC heavy. I think that's another thing we do want to be cautious of is too much of one conference because that never ends up working out either. So.
No.
Now, here's your start, Ty.
Texas Tech. Now, they did not come out against Kansas the weekend before Selection Sunday. Well, I guess the weekend of selection for the tournament. They did make it to the finals, their conference finals, just didn't get it done. Texas Tech is still a solid program. They can play some ball. I'm going to take them over Montana State easily. And I would move them on one more game. I think they're good for one more win after that.
Sure.
And then they're going to either fall, I think, to Michigan State or Duke.
Here's the thing: is I actually would have Davidson.
You like Davidson?
Michigan State.
Tell me why.
What I like is that Davidson was absolutely dominant within their own individual tournament and within their own individual conference, which I think is huge for them. One of the other things I really like about them now, despite their strength of schedule, I think that's where Michigan State really falls in line for them. But one of the things is that I think Davidson can score. Davidson does score more than Michigan State does. Mm-hmm. They haven't had the strength of schedule that Michigan State does, but I think Michigan State may try and look past them and be thinking about that Duke matchup.
Right, I'm sold.
'Cause that's a pure blue blood matchup that Michigan State wants to get to.
And now with Duke having Coach K retiring, do they play better? Do they play stronger?
I don't know. They got their butt whooped by North Carolina.
I mean, I kind of feel like Duke is not necessarily poised for. I mean, there's a reason why we can put them in the
I do have Duke beating Davidson or Michigan State, but since we chose Davidson, I'm definitely going to take Duke.
So right now, then we do have that Texas Tech Duke matchup. That's another 3-2 matchup, and then in the South we had a 3-2 matchup.
I mean, it's tough. If Duke can come out of the gates looking good in the tournament to start after falling on their face in North Carolina, I think they will have something to prove a little bit, and they will want to play really tough. So I think I will take them over Texas Tech. Okay. Then going on to play Gonzaga in the West.
So we're pretty well framed up in the East, West, South and West. Now moving into the East. I just want to go out and say that Baylor is going to move on for a couple of games.
Baylor, I have in the Elite Eight.
Looking at the 8-9 seed in the East is North Carolina versus Marquette. I like North Carolina.
North Carolina ended the season really, really well. I love the fact that they were able to beat Duke to end Coach K. But that's going to be my cautionary tale here is that was such a big emotional investment for them to want to beat Duke and beat Coach K in his last game that, I mean, can Marquette pull this out? Marquette is 500 against top 25 teams. North Carolina's 2-4 against top 25 teams. Sure. I think that's tough, man.
You think you like Marquette? We've already picked 2 9 seeds.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just kind of pointing it out. Okay. I have you're the one with the mouse over there selecting Carolina, so we'll let it roll.
Okay. All right, go with it. The 5-12 seed, I do like Indiana. 100%. Going off of the theory that a play-in team's going to move on at least one game, that's the team right there. Indiana's going to get it.
Yeah, I like this as well, too. They are the highest ranked 12 seed by far. Mm-hmm. They have a really, really good team overall. And
they were upset by Iowa, I think, like on a buzzer beater, so they could have definitely gotten to the conference finals for the Big 12. Where are they?
That was the Big 10.
Big 10.
Yeah. Unless they changed it to the Big 12, because the Big 12 is no longer 12 teams. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
Change it all
wherever they are.
Yeah, it's still the Big 10. Indiana, I do have taking down St. Mary's, and this is one of those like major conference versus non-major conferences in that 5-12 matchup that we can really highlight here. And I'm going to go ahead and take Indiana for sure.
Okay, Texas, Virginia Tech.
I gotta be honest, I have no real opinion on that.
That's going to be right. I'm going to go Texas on that one. for no real other reason than just looking at the favorable matchup that it's a 6 seed against 11 seed. Purdue and Yale, I'm going to go with Purdue.
I'm going to go with
Purdue's
Purdue.
had a good season.
I watched their Big Ten tournament game against Iowa, and they looked real good.
Yeah. All right, here's one that features a school you don't see much. San Francisco going against Murray State. What's up with the San Francisco school? Do we know anything even about them?
I know nothing about either of these teams. So we're pulling up some stats here. So we do have an AP rank of Murray State being a top 25 team. San Francisco is not far behind them. They're 39.
Yeah.
So these are both two good schools.
Yeah. Kind
of going up against it. Murray State was 18-0 in the conference, 30-2 overall versus 10-6 in the conference and 24-9 for San Francisco. Now they were both winless against top 25 teams. San Francisco was 0-3. Murray State was only 0-1. And honestly, points per game and points allowed are pretty darn close for both of them. So I think I might lead with Murray State, but I mean I could certainly be swayed.
I mean, at least Murray State's been there. When's the last time San Francisco's been in the national tournament?
Couldn't tell you.
Right.
That
could be a brand new school for all I know.
So, and then continuing on in the East, I'm still going to take Purdue, top in Texas there, and then I'm gonna take Indiana to beat.
I like that
UCLA and send them to the Sweet 16.
UCLA just surprised everyone by going as far as they did. They made it to was it the finals or just Final Four? I think either way they did more than what anyone was really anticipating. They were the ones tearing up the bracket. Are they going to do it again this year at the 4 spot? I just don't see it. They are playing Akron in the first game, but we'll have UCLA go on play Indiana with Indiana, like you mentioned, to meet Baylor. So that's a 1-12 matchup.
And I'll take Baylor here.
And we like Baylor on that. I agree. So once again, though, Eric, this is when I'm talking about, look at your Final Four, and we have another 3-2 matchup going on to a 1-2 matchup, which we're doing kind of consistently, and this is where you would have to be careful. So build out those divisions, but then you may need to do a little retooling here. So let's finish off the Midwest, see where we wind up. How about Kansas and Texas Southern? Is there a chance?
No.
No. Okay, moving on.
No.
The 8-9 seed in the Midwest is San Diego State versus Creighton. That seems like to be a pretty... those guys play each other, I feel like, quite a bit. They're regularly in the 8-9 spot. No matter where those schools wind up, they're always around, the middle seed, and they don't... I think recent memory, Creighton made it to maybe the Sweet 16, but...
Yeah, Creighton, I think, had a run a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I do like Creighton simply because they have a lot of experience against top 25 teams. They played 11 games this year. They did go 5-6 in them, but they have a lot of experience against good teams.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to give them the edge here.
Like the Blue Jays. Iowa and Richmond, that's the 5-12 seed out of the Midwest. Do you like your Spiders, Eric?
I would love to say yes, but I don't think the Spiders stand a chance.
Now, here's an upset alert. South Dakota State. Best three-point shooters in the tournament. Can they take down Providence? I say yes.
That spells disaster.
It does, but you can get
teams
one
that can shoot from the perimeter.
Sure.
If they get hot, it's
game over.
Done.
Right.
It's done because if they get hot, forget about it.
Right.
Providence, has some experience against better playing teams. South Dakota is just outside the top 25. Providence is right there at 13. Mm-hmm. And so, Providence does have some more experience against better teams. And overall, where's their strength of schedule? I don't see it there. Hold on. Strength of schedule for them is vastly different. Providence at 49th and South Dakota State at 198.
Ooh. Okay.
South Dakota State has not played good teams.
Right.
But if they can get hot from behind the 3-point line,
that's all you got to do. Make buckets.
That's what you got to do. And they score
splash.
Points.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take South Dakota State to get hot from behind the arc.
Now, do they go deep? No, I don't think so at all. But I'd say they're good for a game.
Yeah.
I'd give them a shot there. With Iowa then to move on, and I think, of course, meet Kansas. Mm-hmm. But this is where I think we see that Kansas team maybe take that crash. I hate to see another 1-2 matchup in the Midwest, so I'm going to say Iowa is going to meet Auburn in the Elite Eight. Would you go with that? Support me on that one?
It's a tough thing to say.
It's a tough buy-in.
When you're going to allow a 1 seed to drop to a 5, it's pretty tough. And they are very vastly different teams when you look at the strength of schedule that Kansas has gone through, it being the second and 6-4 in those against top 25 teams versus 2-5 in the 60th strength of schedule. But Iowa can score.
Yeah.
Iowa can score.
But if it's not Iowa to take down a 1 seed, a 1 seed has to fall somewhere.
Well,
you just don't see the, and it's always Kansas, right?
Kansas.
Yeah. So do they lose to Creighton?
No, I think I got them losing to Iowa as well too.
Okay,
just playing devil's advocate.
There we go. No, fair enough. So LSU in the first game is facing 11 seed Iowa State. Tigers or Cyclones?
Tigers and Cyclones. That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with another upset here. I'm going to take Iowa State.
That's mostly 11 seeds winning.
They've done really well against top 25 teams. They're 4-7. They've had a lot of experience against it. LSU has struggled. Considering how good of a team this team is, they're 3-5 against the top 25.
Okay.
So I'll take Iowa State.
All right.
Let's go Cyclones.
There we go. And they are going to face the winner of the Wisconsin-Colgate. That's a 3-14 matchup.
There's no way Wisconsin loses this game.
I'm with you.
Zero chance. Just for perspective here, strength of schedule for Colgate is 317th to Wisconsin's 20th. Colgate has played 0 top 25 teams. Mm-hmm. And they're ranked outside the top 125.
Okay.
There's zero chance that Colgate is going to even remotely be in this game.
Next matchup is a 7 seed against the 10 seed. That's USC and Miami at the underdog spot.
I think this is an interesting.
I think this is going to be a good
game because I think they're pretty evenly matched. Yep. USC is 26-7 on the season versus 23-10 for Miami. Both were not great against top 25 teams. 1-4 for USC, 1-2 for Miami. Strength of schedule is also very poor for both of these teams. I think this is kind of a toss-up. Miami has a tendency to score a little bit more, but they do give up a little bit more. I'm not crazy about either of these teams.
I say Hurricanes because we already got the Cyclones, so let's send in the Storms. On the next wave of games. But also, I think we just looking at the seeding, I don't know that we took any. Well, we did take Davison. So going back to that one, so we have 2 10 seeds moving on out of the first round of games. So Miami would play Auburn, which we had Auburn, moving on. As again at the beginning, we had them moving on to the Final Four. So the last game really we have to pick is an Iowa State-Wisconsin game. That should be a pretty good one. But we like Wisconsin, don't we?
I think we both do. I think that's a little bit tighter of a game than people would expect. But we'll definitely take Wisconsin.
No surprise there. We have 3-2 matchups in every division. I would highly encourage anyone filling out a bracket to maybe rethink that.
Maybe diversify
their
assets a little bit more. Now we have a fair amount of upsets as well too in here.
We do have a fair amount of upsets.
Which typically also is, we took a 13 seed, we took some 12 seeds. I think those are.
But just in retrospect, I look back. I'd like maybe Texas over Purdue now. Maybe I would send the Longhorns in because maybe we just underestimated them. Just to paint a different picture here altogether with the tournament, because the chances of 3-2s going all the way, maybe Texas Tech falls early because Notre Dame can get it. We've seen Rutgers do okay. I would be open to changing that one. Yeah, I mean, if you want to take, I'd be open to it as well too. If you want to switch it up to Texas, taking down Purdue, I'd be down with that too. There we go. So now we do have still a Texas team going, but a 6 seed, I think typically does belong in the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not surprising at all to see, that 5, 6, or 7 seed in there, or even an 8 seed. Yeah. So definitely keep that in mind as you're going on. Don't go with just the logical pick on who should win. Of course, we know who should win a lot of these matchups. But we all know also, if you've watched a tournament any year, that's not the way it goes. That's why you got to play the games. Mm-hmm. Show up and play. So let's round this all out, though. And our Final Four is still sitting at Gonzaga, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Auburn.
I'm not gonna allow an all SEC final.
No, Gonzaga's
so I got to go with the Gonzaga,
Kentucky,
and between Tennessee and Auburn, I think that's a